Hey everybody, it's Dissident here. Welcome back to another Apex Legends video. In today's video, guys, we're going to be doing a weapon tier list for all of the weapons in Apex Legends Season 11. Now, I've been wanting to get into tier list videos on the channel for a long time now, so I'm super excited to get into this one. If you guys don't know how a tier list video works, we're going to go from S being the top best guns in the game, going all the way down to the F tier, which is either god-awful or just not so good guns. Before we continue with the video, if you guys like Apex Legends or you like me as a person, make sure to smash that thumbs up button. And also don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Apex content. But anyway, I don't want to go on a tangent, so without further ado, let's get right into the video. Alright everybody, first gun on the list is the 30-30 repeater. Now, honestly, I have mixed feelings about this gun. I do pick it up from time to time when there's honestly no other option. But when I do use it, it does hit. Iron sights, I'm not the best fan of, but it does hurt, especially if you have the shatter caps. You pretty much have a gun that is useful at all ranges. With shatter caps, you have a shotgun at close range, and then by default, you also have the long range, medium range weapon. So I think they've done a pretty decent job with it lately. I don't think it's terrible, but I don't think it's that crazy either. So for me, it's personally going to be, as of right now, in the middle of the list, sitting at a nice C tier. I will switch things up throughout the video, maybe towards the end, finalize my thoughts, so bear with me, everybody, bear with me. Next on the list, we have the Alternator. Now, the Alternator, for me, has always been a good gun, even before it was a care package weapon. This, in particular, is the care package version of the Alternator. This thing has the disruptor rounds. That alone makes this gun S tier. And there was a time that disruptors were even stronger, way back when the game was like first around. So it's an easy to control gun, like to use. It has a disruptor rounds, it does some good damage, it has a nice magazine size, no recoil, it's practically straight line. All you gotta do is hold it down. That's Alternator, care package weapon, definitely an S tier. For sure. Next we have the bow check bow. Now, the bow check kind of works the same way, similar to the 30-30 repeater. They both have the shatter caps, so you can use it both long range and in close range. But the thing about the bow, it does hit harder than the 30-30, that's for sure, and it's a lot quieter. But it's the thing about the pulling back, that's the part that throws me off. I feel like that's just a lot of time that you have to use to get good with it or to hit it, and you have to be very accurate. So it might be, for me, it's between here and there, just because I feel like the 30-30 can do what the bow does but better, but the bow check also hits harder. So I think I might stick it for there, because there's people who are really good with the bow. I'm not, but the bow, if used right, can actually do some pretty nasty damage. Now we have the Carson G, pretty crazy gun, not gonna lie. It's not the best weapon, but I think it's a pretty good weapon. The hip fire on it is pretty crazy, it's pretty accurate. The only downside I have for this gun is the iron sight. The iron sight is pretty wonky, honestly, but the gun hits hard. It's pretty similar to an R9, and the R9 is also really good. So for right now, you can hit some pretty decent mid-range shots if you have attachments so you can control it well. For now, it's gonna be between an A and a B, but for right now, I'll put it at an A. Definitely under the Alternator. Seems like a good spot. Now we have the charge rifle. Now let me tell you, as a gun, being the only hit scan weapon I think that I can think of, it's good, but it can be kind of hard to hit sometimes because you have to trace it. So you can either do the entire max damage or you can do barely any damage. So that's when this gun kind of gets like in the middle, but it's super annoying if you're getting hit. You don't have to worry about any drop or anything like that. So it might be also within the range of, might be a B or an A. I think just for the sake that it's hit scan and it can hit hard if you do it right, I might put it at B. I'm going to put it at B because those things hurt when they hurt. Alright, next we have the Devotion. Now, for me, the Devotion is a gun I only see in the beginning of the game. I never see it in the middle. I never see it at the end game. It just doesn't have an oomph until you get a turbocharger. But even then, it's just not that. There's more guns that do the same thing in terms of DPS. They're better and a lot easier to control. So without a turbocharger, I might put it below the bow check and the 30-30. With the turbocharger, probably around A and B. But standard as it is, I don't really see many people pick up the Devotion. It wastes a lot of ammo. Energy is already pretty scarce as it is. And it's hard to control, especially with the huge windup. You can get killed before you even start actually shooting. So I'm gonna put it at D. Base devotion, I'm definitely putting it at D. Now we have the EVA 8 auto. Before all the nerfs, that thing, there should be another tier for this weapon. The EVA 8 used to be so nasty. I'm telling you, it used to be so good. Everybody hated it. But now they nerfed it that it doesn't shoot as fast and it does less damage per pellet. So honestly, I think the other shotguns outshine it. So I'm gonna put it in the middle. It's good with a shotgun bolt, but without it, it's gonna be nice in the middle now. Sad to say, I feel like the EVA 8 has dropped down a lot in terms of its potential, especially because of all the nerfs, and I feel like the other shotguns are performing better at the moment. The VK-47 Flatline. This at the moment is one of my favorite guns to use. It hits hard. It has a decent magazine size. The recoil is a little bit tough to control when you get past certain ranges, but it's a powerhouse. You hit headshots, you hit body shots. This thing it hurts. It's an easy to use gun, honestly. Once you get past like maybe the medium ranges, that's when it gets a little bit difficult, but it's a hard hitting gun. It's a classic. It's awesome. Definite A tier, 100%. Now we got the G7 Scout. Now, this is the care package G7 Scout. I'm not gonna lie. In terms of it being a care package weapon, I think it might be the weakest one. I never see people with G7 Scouts. My teammates never pick up the G7 Scout. It's either the Spitfire, the Kraber, or the Alternator. I rarely see the G7. And if I do, it's because I'm taking the 2x4 off and putting it on my current marksman weapon that I'm using for the game. It's not that good. The ammo is scarce. You have to pretty much hit like almost every shot for you to actually do something with it. So as a care package weapon, I don't think it's that crazy. The G7 in general is a good gun, but as a care package weapon, you expect more. So I'm going to put it at D tier. It hurts. It does some good stuff, especially with the double tap thing, but there, to me, is better care package weapons. I just got to say it like it is, in my opinion. All right, we got the Havoc Rifle. To me, this is definitely better than the Devotion just because the windup is not as long and it's a lot easier to control. It does about the same damage as an L-Star, but it has actual ammo. You don't have that overheat function that the L-Star does. But with a turbocharger, it might be at A. So I think it's a good gun. I like using it, but I don't see myself with the gun the entire time unless I have a turbocharger. But they're not that common. I might put it at B. I'll see how that feels. I'm kind of liking it here with a turbocharger somewhere here and base somewhere here. So for right now, I'm going to put it at B. Sounds like a nice spot. It hits hard. The only thing I see is the windup has a good crosshair and fairly easy to control. The Hemlock. Now, I'm not a fan of burst weapons, but ever since they added that buff to the hip fire, this thing it just feels so much smoother. I'm not a fan of burst weapons, but I see my friends picking this up and they tear through people. So I'm kind of between here personally, but with that hip fire, I never miss with hip fire. When I'm ADSing, I miss everything, but with hip fire, I'm gonna put it at A. It's a good assault rifle. It really is a good assault rifle. We got the Kraber. What can I say? S tier. It has one-shot potential. That's really all I gotta say. It's the Kraber. On to the L-Star. Now, for me, the L-Star has gone through a lot. It used to be meta. It hit hard. It barely had to like reload or overheat if you knew how to pace the overheat function well. But now with the nerf to the magazines and the nerf to the barrel and the nerf to the damage, it doesn't feel as consistent as it once used to. But I can't say that the Havoc is better than the L-Star. I can't say that. Just because the L-Star can do what the Havoc does better, honestly. I believe so. So I'm going to put that above the Havoc. That being said, I might move the Havoc down. Because the L-Star to me is better than the Havoc. Because it does about the same amount of damage. And this practically has an infinite ammo supply. And you can put a barrel on it. And all that other stuff. I think the L-Star is better than the Havoc. We got the Longbow next on the list. The Longbow, it got nerfed this season. It went down from 60 damage to 55. But it's still a pretty good marksman weapon. It does the job. It might be And in A tier, it hurts. It's definitely better than the 30-30 as a marksman. Definitely better than the G7, especially since it's a care package weapon. It hits hard, has some nice decent shots. It can use a barrel too. It has good range. Doesn't have much bullet drop. I think it's nice in the A tier. For me, it's between A and B. Maybe. I think so. I think the longbow is a pretty good gun. Now we have the Mastiff Shock, and honestly, the Mastiff this season for me has been hitting pretty hard. Pretty hard. The only downfall I can say is that I'm just not a fan of that bullet spread. That straight line is not good. It's okay. It can hurt if you hit your shots, but sometimes you get that like 7 pellet or that 8 pellet, and it's the worst thing ever. But it hits like a truck when you hit. So honestly, it's a fairly good shotgun. I don't think it's A tier. Maybe in the right hands you can decimate somebody, but I think it's definitely a good shotgun. That's 100%. All right, we got the Mozambique. Now, you may debate if the Eva or the Mozambique are better or they're interchangeable, but honestly, I think it's D tier. It can do some damage, but there's other guns that can do the same thing but better. But it's definitely cool to have off the rip. It's a fairly easy gun to use, except it has a low magazine size. I don't think it's trash, but there's definitely better guns in the game for sure. And then we have the P2020. I am just dropping this down in the F tier just because the P2020, man, I feel like I'm always one bullet away from killing somebody. That's one gun I don't want to pick up like off the rip. I can hit some sniper shots like as soon as I land. I can hit some Mozambique shots, Wingman shots, you name it. But man, that P2020, that's the last thing I want to pick up. It's just a pistol. That's all it is. It doesn't do that much damage. Nothing. It's nothing crazy. It's literally just a pistol. Peacekeeper, interchangeable with the Mastiff, maybe for a lot of people, but the Peacekeeper I think is the best shotgun currently right now, just because it has huge potential. It hits like a truck. Earlier today, I hit somebody in the head for like 100 and something. It's the most satisfying thing ever. And you don't have to really ADS to get a lot of the power off of the Peacekeeper because it has a better spread of like a more circle squares as opposed to a straight line. So it's easier to hit a Peacekeeper too. But it has a slower fire rate. So these two are definitely interchangeable. The Mastiff and the Peacekeeper, it's total preference. But I prefer the Peacekeeper, especially since it has the choke. You can also get some range with that shotgun too. I think, to me, Peacekeeper is the best shotgun in this game, in this season at the moment. Prowler Smg. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not a fan of burst weapons, like I said. And I miss the automatic mode of the Prowler. Now, that being said, the Prowler is not forgiving because those 5-round bursts, they shoot very fast. And if you miss anything, you're total out of whack. So I like the Prowler when it has attachments on it. But base Prowler, I'm most of the time not a fan. But if I find the attachments, I'll definitely keep it because it does hit like a truck, especially if you have a digi threat. Crazy. So it's a good SMG. I'm definitely going to put it at B. It's not bad at all. No attachments, C. With attachments, and even without, I think it's a good SMG. It's nothing crazy, but it's a good SMG. I haven't seen many people complain about it. I don't think it's broken. I think it's good. It's staying at B. R301. Let me tell you, this is a staple of Apex. Easy to control, hits hard, good hip fire, good range, good this, good that. It's a amazing, perfectly balanced gun. It's just easy to use. It's user friendly. It can do everything pretty much good. So that's why it's definitely at the S tier. And you might see like, well, you got the Kraber and then you got the R3, but it's just because it's so easy to use and it does everything well. That's why it's going in the S tier. Now the R99, I find that it can be with either in front or behind the car. A lot of people prefer the R9 just because it can hit a little bit better at range, but I feel like it's a little bit harder to control than the car, but it still melts. So I'm definitely going to put that with the car right next to it. Totally interchangeable, but I think the R9 in A tier, which is really good, is definitely, it's in a good spot. All right, here's a super controversial one. We got the Rampage. I did a video on the Rampage. I did a short on the Rampage. Check it out if you have not seen it already. But Rampage, without the thermite, I think is somewhere between C and B. Because it shoots so slow, you have to really track your enemies way before they even get to where they're going to go. That's how slow this thing can shoot. But once you get used to that, it hits hard. But again, if you're going against something like a Flatline or an R3 or an SMG, it's going to be hard to really compete against that. Especially if you get caught in a close range fight and you're just not ready for it. But if you have a thermite, easy A tier, S tier, easy. You can break doors. It shoots fast as heck. Especially we already know that DPS is crazy for the amount of bullets this thing can carry too. So definitely, as it is, I would say it's between A and a B. But with a thermite, definitely between S and an A. But I'll say it's a B because sometimes it performs a bit inconsistently. But you can also use it to single tap. I might change that around. I don't know. I'm going to keep it there just because it seems like a nice little happy place. But it's going to stay right there, that's for sure. We have the RE45. Honestly, this little gun packs a punch. I would definitely prefer to pick this over the Mozambique. But then at this point, I'm comparing it to these guns if I put it any higher. So I think it's going to sit right there. I always melt people when I have this thing. It hits hard, quick reload, quick fire rate, easy to use in a pinch when you first land and all that stuff. I think it's a good gun. And then that makes me think, do I want to put this down here? I am not sure. The Sentinel. If you're not running a Kraber or a Longbow, you're most likely running the Sentinel. It hits hard. That thing hits like a truck, especially when you charge it up with the shield cells. It's crazy. I might put that at A or B. I'm not a sniper person, but my friend, he always asking for the Sentinel. He be hitting some shots. So it's like, I'm going to put it at B for me because I don't use it often. So I don't really know the full potential of it. But I know when used correctly, that thing smacks. That thing smacks. Honestly, it's a good sniper. You don't got a Kraber? Get that. Honestly, it's crazy. Spitfire. It's got to go in the S tier. For some reason, I can't use it well anymore. But it's easy to control. It might be A. It's easy to control. It hits hard. And it's the Spitfire. It has a huge magazine size. You just spam it. But that's the thing. I'm not sure if I want it there or in A. Because then nah, it's S tier. That thing is crazy. It can melt. It can melt. That's staying in S. Triple take. It got nerfed pretty fast this season. But definite S tier. It hits hard. Has some pretty good range. It's pretty spare on ammo, honestly. You can use it up close because it has like a bit of a shotgun pattern. It hits hard from pretty much any range. With a ×3 especially, that thing is crazy. Even after the nerf, it still hits hard. It's still a really, 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 really good gun. Now we have the Volt. Honestly, I prefer to use the Volt over the R9 in the car, but I'm not sure what is better. I feel like it's the easiest one to control, but it has the slowest fire rate also. It's like a mixture between an AR and an SMG. So I'm going to put that right there in the Volt, right there between the Flatline and the car. This is in no particular order, kind of, but not really. That's definitely, I'm pretty comfortable about that, honestly. I think the Volt definitely an A tier gun. And then lastly, we have the Wingman. If you don't know how to use it, F. If you do know how to use it, it's an A tier weapon only because like there be people with it, man. They hit some shots. You move super fast when you're using it. It has the what is that, boosted loader? Boosted loader is a pretty good hop up for the Wingman. It hits hard, but it's hard to use. But I'm gonna use it because I know how to use it, and there's a lot of people that know how to use it. It packs a punch. You hit your shots, nobody's gonna kill you with this thing. So I'm definitely putting that, the Wingman, in A tier, just because if you know how to use it, it's disgusting. Alright, this is my finalized tier list. The only thing I really moved was the Mozambique from D to F, just because I'm not a fan of the single fire semi-auto pistols. Yes, it can hurt, but would I rather pick one or the other over an RE45? I would rather pick an 45 over the both of these. So this definitely is my finalized tier list for all the guns in Apex Legends Season 11. Now I know all of you guys are going to have your own different opinions and all that stuff, so let me know what you think. Let me know what you think I got wrong. Let me know what you think I got right. I want to know what your favorite guns or your least favorite guns are. Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. If you guys like this tier list video, let me know down in the comments below, because I am planning on doing a Legends tier list in the near future, maybe next week or so stay tuned for that. With all that being said, guys, I'm going to head out. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. Do not forget to smash that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel for more Apex content. Once again, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.